Hi guys, good morning. I'm going to start with our bead matting now. This is beading 101. Matting is what you're going to use to make all your beaded bag designs. It's generally what is being used by all the designs you see out there. This beads I'm using here is called sugar beads. We're going to need a fishing line as well. You always use a short fishing line as a beginner. So right here now we're going to be starting. I'm going to begin 4 beads. We're going to be making a ring of 4 as we go along. I'm going to pick both ends of my fishing line, as you can see, and I'm going to put the 4 beads into one end of the fishing line, as you can see in the video. Now I'm going to pick the other end of my fishing line and insert it into the 4th bead from the opposite direction. I'm inserting it to the opposite direction, and I'm going to pull, making sure both ends of my fishing line are equal at the tip. And I'm going to pull my bead down. So now I'm going to have something like this, a ring of 4. So moving forward now, we're going to pick 3 beads. We're going to be needing 3 beads to complete. Okay, so picking up 3 beads now, we already have 1 bead with our fishing line inside it. So we're going to need 3 beads to complete that 4. So now I'm going to fix 1 bead on the fishing line at my left hand. So we're going to name the fishing line left and right. So I'm going to put in 1 fishing line on the 1 bead on the fishing line on my left hand side. Put the second bead on the fishing line on my right hand side. Then the 3rd bead, I'm going to fix it back on the fishing line on my left hand side. Then I'm going to use the one on my right hand side to cross it. So basically you're just going to fix 1 fishing line on both ends of I'm going to fix 1 bead on both ends of the fishing line, put the 3rd bead on one end of the fishing line and use the other one to cross it. As you can see, we have 2 rings of 4 now. So we're going to move on with the same process. Pick 3 beads, put 1 on your left hand, put 1 on your right hand, put the 3rd one back on your left hand and use the right one to cross it. As you can see, using the one on my right hand to cross it now. Always make sure your fishing line is equal at the tip. And always pull as you're going along. Pull your fishing line so your beads can be firm. We have 3 rings now. We're going to do the same process until you get your desired length. What you keep doing, you're going to keep repeating the same thing, putting one at the right, one at the left, and using the last one to cross it. You're going to keep doing that until you get the desired length. Depends on how big or small you want your bag to be. Alright, so we're going to continue now. Keep doing the same process, keep repeating the same process until we get our desired length. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to continue matting my bead until I get my length, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So right here now, I'm done getting the length I want my bag to be. So I want my bag to be 12 beads long. Like I'm going to mat 12 beads. That's the length I want the bag to be. Alright, so when you're making your bag, you have to determine how long you want it to be, how wide you want it to be as well. So I have 11 right here. I'm going to be making the 12th one. The 12th one is going to help me to turn to the other side. Okay, so in order for us to make the 12th one now, it's going to help us, that's going to help us to turn and for us to keep using our bag as to go along the way. Okay, so the 12th, now my fishing line, the technique we're doing before by fixing one on both ends and fixing the last one and crossing, it helps our fishing line to end at the top, which is where you are seeing the thread. But I want my fishing line to end at this point, which I'm pointing at right now. I want it to end because if it ends there, I'll be able to continue matting. Alright, so instead of fixing one at both ends, this time we're going to be fixing all 3 of our beads on the fishing line at our left hand side. We're going to pick 3 beads now. Then we're going to fix all 3 at the fishing line at our left hand side, as you can see. Then we're going to pick the fishing line at our right hand side. Then we're going to cross it with the 3rd bead. As you drag your beads down, always pull, okay? Always remember to pull your fishing line to make your work firm. Now you can see where my fishing line has ended. Now this will help me. This is my 12th bead now, my 12th ring now. So this will help me to start my matting process. As you can see, I'm counting it. I have 12. Okay. Now I'm going to start. For us to start our 12th, our 2nd row. Sorry, now we're going to pick the fishing line at our left hand side. We're going to pick 3 beads. Then fix all 3 beads on that same fishing line. That's how you start a new row. Okay, after making your beads, for you to start a new row, you always have to pick 3 beads to complete the 4th one, to complete it and make it 4, and fix all 3 at one end of the fishing line, which is the one at the left hand side. You're going to cross with the one at the right hand. Okay, so now as you can see, we have our 2nd row. We're beginning our 2nd row. For us to continue, you're going to pick the fishing line at your right hand. Okay, you're going to pass it into the next bead, the bead just right beside the one you just did. You're going to pass it into that bead, the fishing line at your left hand side. Okay, so once you have passed it through, now what we're going to do now, as you can see, we have 2 beads which our fishing line have passed through. So we're going to pick 2 beads now to complete it. You know, we're making a ring of 4 all the way, so we always need 4 beads to make our ring. So it depends on the amount of beads that your fishing line is inside, then you pick the other one to complete it. Now we have 2 beads here. We're going to pick 2 beads now using the fishing line as our left hand side. We're going to pick 2 beads and insert it into that fishing line. Then we're going to pick the fishing line at our right hand side to cross it and lock our beads in place. So now we have our ring of 4 complete. So for us to continue again, we're going to have to pass the fishing line at our left hand side into the next bead again. So this is the process we're going to be doing. We're just going to keep passing the fishing line at our right hand side into the next bead. Then we're going to pick the fishing line at our left hand side and insert 2 beads in it. Use the one at our right hand side to cross it. Then pull tight. Always remember, pull tight. If you feel the fishing line is hurting your fingers, you can always get a glove. Okay, this latex glove, you can always get it and use it when you're working. So I'm going to continue the same process. Going to pass it into the next bead. Pick the fishing line at our left hand, insert 2 beads and cross it to the one at our right hand. Okay, So I hope you're not confused. If you're confused, just play the video back and listen to what I'm saying and focus on the video, you understand. And please just get your materials and start, because there's a thing about you just watching, you will not really understand what I'm saying until you start practicing. So just start practicing, okay? Then you understand, because everything just falls into place when you're making this bag. Like, you just literally know the next thing to do, okay? So just start practicing and you understand what I'm saying. As you can see, I'm still passing it. Sorry about the fact that some of the clips I'm a little bit out of camera range, but I hope you still understand and you can still see what I'm doing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue until I get to the 11th point. Then I'll show you. As you can see, okay, I've gotten to that point now. Then I want to turn so I can start my third row, right? I have 11 here. So the 12th one is going to help me to turn so I can start my third row. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick the fishing line as my right hand. And insert it into the last bead as we've been doing. So once we've passed the fishing line through that bead right now, before we've been passing it with the one at the right hand, then fixing our bead into the one at the left hand. But this time we're going to pass the fishing line with the same one at our right hand, but instead of putting our bead in the one at the left hand, we're going to be putting the bead in the same fishing line, the one at our right hand side. Okay, that's the difference. You're not going to be putting the fresh bead into the one at our left hand. You're going to pick the bead and put it in the same one you used to pass, which is the one at your right hand. That is the difference for you to turn, so you can continue matting your bead. All right. Now you can see we have our fishing line right where we want it. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to turn my bead. So I like to always turn it once I'm done fixing that last one. I always like to turn it the other way so it can be easier for me to continue matting my bead. I prefer to work from the left side all the way to the right side. Okay, so it's easier this way for me. You can always pick a side that is easy for you and start. So moving on, starting our third row now. As I did earlier, I'm going to pick 3 beads and insert it into the one at my left hand side, like I did when I was making the second row. Then pick your fishing line, the one at your right hand side, and cross it. You're going to pull down. As you can see, we have our third row. So now, like we did as well, we're going to start inserting the fishing line at our right hand side into the next bead, picking up 2 beads, putting it at the fishing line at our left hand side, then crossing it to continue matting. Okay, so that's the process. That is the trick for matting, for making your beaded bag. This is basically the trick. The only difference with the other designs is that maybe some bags are round, some bags are like different shapes. So different shapes determine the number of beads you use. Okay, so if you're making rounded bags, the number of beads you're going to use is going to be different, but it's the same process. You're going to pick it, insert the beads, use the last one to cross it, then continue putting the one at the right hand side into the next bead. That is basically the trick of making a beaded bag. Okay, so I'm going to let you watch the video now. I'm going to continue matting my bag, and I'll come back to tell you the next step. Okay, so I'll just continue until I get to that last point, and I'll show you again how to turn. Okay, so I'm getting to our 11th point now. I want to insert the 12th one to turn so we can continue making our bag. So like I said earlier, for this last point, you're going to be passing the fishing line with the one at your right hand side. But this time you're going to be inserting the beads on that same fishing line. Okay, not the one at your left hand side at this time. For you to turn, you're going to insert the bead into the same fishing line that you used to pass, which is the one at your left hand side. You're going to pick the one at your right hand side and use it to cross it. So you're going to pick the one at your left hand side and use it to cross it. Like I said, I always like to turn my bead the other way so it can be easy for me to continue making my next row. Okay, so we have 3 rows now. I'm going to continue matting until I get my desired size. Okay, so once I get the desired size that I want, I'm going to show you what next to do and how to achieve your bag. All right, so please just keep watching. So as you can see right here, I've gotten my mats. This is how big I want it to be. I ended up making it 9 by 9 by 5. So now I'm going to show you how to finish off your thread and how to start with a fresh one. Okay, in case you are using obviously if you're using a short fishing line, your thread must have finished a while back. So I'm going to show you how to do. So basically what to do is we just weave the fishing line back into the bead. You just weave it back into the bead, like different directions. Just make sure you pull along the way as you're weaving it back in. So as you can see, that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to pass it into the next bead, passing it into the next bead, into the next bead, into the next bead, until I'm done exhausting my fishing line. Not necessarily exhausting the whole fishing line. I'm just going to pass it to a point where I'm satisfied that okay, it's firm enough. Then I'm going to cut out the excess one. But just keep passing. That's just the trick of finishing off your excess fishing line, right? So I'm just passing it through. You're going to do pass it on both ends of the fish, not just one end. You're going to pass the both fishing line. All right, pull along the way as you're passing. Keep pulling. The more you pull, the more firm your bag gets. So I'm just going to keep passing, and when I'm done, I'll show you how to fold your bag to achieve your bag design. So as you can see now, I'm done moving my thread back into my mat. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to fold your bag. to get your design. Okay, so you're going, like I said, you're going to determine how many beads you're using for both sides. So I made mine 9 by 9 by 5. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. Okay, so you're going to count 9 on one end and you count 9 on the other end. Now depending on how many beads you use for yours, okay, I use 9 for mine. After counting, you're going to fold at that point. Okay, as you can see what I'm doing, I'm folding it. Okay, just making sure that I have 9. Okay, on the other side as well. Then I'm going to count this other side. So 7, 8, 9, and I'm going to fold 2. So now I'm folding it. I can have both sides of my bag. Yep. Fold to get the front and back of your bag, not the sides. So now I have my 9 by 9 by 5. My base is 5. If you can pause and count it, you can see that it's 5 over there. So I'm going to show you how to make your sides. Okay, I'm going to do the sides now. Okay, I've gone ahead to make one side of the bag already. The same process with the other side. So I'm just going to show you how to make this side. You're going to repeat the same process at the other side. Okay, so for you to start making the side of your bag, you're going to be incorporating the beads at the end, at this side, the other side, and at the base. Okay, so what we want to do now is you're going to insert your fishing line into the last 2 beads at the end. We're going to be picking one from the base and one from the side. Okay, so those 2 beads, they are just at the end there, one from the side, one from the base. I'm going to be inserting a fishing line into those 2 beads at the edge. The 2 beads at the edge there, we're going to be inserting a fishing line into it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I've passed it into one. I'm going to pass it into the second one, and then pull together. Make sure my fishing line is equal at the tip. Now since we have the fishing line in both beads, what we're going to do is we're going to pick our beads. Now we're going to pick 2 beads. I'm making rings of 4, right? So now we have a fishing line in 2 beads. We know that we need 2 beads to complete it. So like we've been doing before, I'm going to pick the fishing line at my left hand side. I'm going to insert 2 beads into it, then pick the fishing line at my right hand side and cross it. So it's basically the same step as we did earlier. Making sure my fishing line is equal, I'm going to pull down so I can have my ring of 4. Now that I've done the first two, we're going to insert the fishing line. We're going to pick the fishing line at our right hand side and insert it into the next bead. Okay, into the next bead. We're going to pick 2 beads again and insert it into the fishing line at our right hand side. Sorry, at our left hand side. So sorry. I'm going to insert it, then pick the one at our right hand side and cross it. I'm going to repeat the same process again. Pass the one at your right hand side into the next bead. Then use 2 beads, pass it to the one at your left hand side. And then you cross it using the one at your right hand side. going to repeat the same process again. Okay, so now we've done the fourth one, and you know our base is 5, so we want to do the fifth one. The fifth one is going to help us turn so we can continue making our sides. Alright, so instead of passing the fishing line into just one bead, which is the fifth one, we're going to pass it into that fifth one and into the next one directly above it. So I've passed it into one now. I'm going to pass it into the one directly above it, which is at the other opposite side. Alright, so now our fishing line is inside 3 beads now, because we passed into 2 just now. Our fishing line was in 1 before. Now we have 3 beads. We're going to be needing just 1 bead to complete our ring. We're going to be fixing that fishing line on the fishing line at our right hand side, the one we used to pass. So we're going to be going in a zigzag manner, okay, from left to right, right to left, left to right, right to left. So we're going to put just 1 bead into the fishing line at our right hand side, then use the one at the left hand to cross it. Okay, now we have our first row. Okay, so for us to continue now, we're going to insert the fishing line at our right hand side into the next bead, which is the one directly above it. Okay, now since we're moving the opposite direction now, we're going to be passing bead through the fishing line at our right hand side. Okay, so I'm going to just fix 2 beads now into the fishing line at my right hand side, and I'm going to cross the one at my left hand side. All right, now we're going to the opposite direction. Okay, so we're going to now, before we were passing with the one at our right hand side, then inserting the bead with the one at our left hand side, but now we're going to be passing with the one at our left hand side and inserting the bead with the one at our right hand side. Okay, so we're going to be going on opposite directions so we can get our sides. So now I'm showing you that I'm going to pass my thread now to the next bead now and insert 2 beads to complete my ring of 4. Okay, so I'm going to pick 2 beads now and insert it and cross. So we're going to continue the next process until we're done with our second row. Go to our third, our fourth, until we have our length, the desired length of our side, to cover up our sides. So in general, right, anytime you're trying to pass your thread, you always pass with the one that is down, the thread that is down, okay, for all your designs, because as you can see, I'm trying to show you that if you pass with the one that is above, like the thread that is up, it's not going to align. You're going to have this thread hanging outside, and it's going to make your bag not to fit well. It's going to be protruding out like this. Okay, so you always pass with the fishing line that is down. No matter the direction you are going, always pass your fishing line into the next bead with the one that is down. All right, so we're going to keep passing and inserting our beads until we're done with our process. And one thing with making bead bag, once you are making a mistake, you will know, because the bag will not sit well. Like, it won't just sit well. So always be vigilant. If you make a mistake, it won't just sit well. So you just have to correct yourself. So I'll keep passing my thread, inserting my 2 beads and going along. done with making my side now. So right now I'm going to be making our handle. Okay, so I have this excess fishing line here, so I'm going to use it to make my handle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want my handle to be at the middle. Yeah, I have 5 beads by the side, so I want it to fall at that center bead right there. Okay, so I'm going to try it. I'm going to pass my fishing line and weave it into my side in a way that it will come out at that point. The both fishing line will end at that point. So right now I'm going to weave my fishing line into my bag and make sure that it comes out at that point. If you make your bag and your fishing line ends before you make your handle, you can just weave it into the bag and start with a fresh fishing line. All you need to do is put that fishing line at that center. So what I'm doing is, since mine is remaining, I'm just going to weave it in until I get to the center point. All right. Okay, now I have put ends of my fishing line coming out of that middle point. So now we're going to start our handle. So remember the technique we did when we're starting our base, okay? Where we inserted one on the right, one on the left, inserted the last one on the right again and crossed with that one, right? That's what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to be picking up 3 beads because we already have 1 bead down there, which our fishing line is inside. So we need 3 to complete our ring of 4. So I'm going to pick 3 beads, insert 1 on my right hand side, 1 on my left hand side, insert the last one back into the right hand and use the left one to cross, right? Or you can insert 1 on your left hand, 1 on your right hand, the same process basically. So we're just going to cross. All right, repeat the same process again. Insert 1 on your left one, 1 on your right one, insert the third one into the other end and cross it. 1 on your right, 1 on your left, insert the third one into the right one again, using the left one to cross it. So we're going to keep repeating the same process until you get the desired length of your handle, your bag handle. So I'm going to repeat the same process over and over again. So I want my handle to be 30 inches, 30 beads long, not inches, sorry. 30 beads. I want the length to be 30. So I'll keep repeating the same process. You can make your handle as long as you want. You can make it into a shoulder cross bag. Anyhow you want, you can make it to be very short, like a clutch. So anyhow you want it, it's your choice. I want mine to be a little bit long, but not too long, a little bit long. I'm going to keep repeating the same process until I get my length. So as you can see, I have my desired length now. I have it 30 beads long. So what we're going to do now is we're going to insert the bead into the middle one again. Okay, but right now our fishing line is already into 1 bead, so we're going to pass it into this one, which is going to make it 2. So we're going to need extra 2 beads to complete our ring of 4. So we're going to fix the both beads in each fishing line, 1 on the right, 1 on the left. Then we're going to pass the both fishing line into that middle bead and opposite direction so it could cross each other. So we're going to pick the both fishing line now. We're going to cross it into that 1 bead in the middle from opposite directions. Sorry about the blur here. I'm going to insert the second one now. and pull it through the other end, then hold the both fishing line and pull them. Now as you can see, our handle is secure. All right, it's not yet secure, but it's on point. So now what we're going to do is secure the handle. We're going to weave the remaining fishing line into the bag. We're going to take it in different directions just to secure our handle. If you don't weave it well, you can see it's wobbly here. So if you don't weave it well, your handle is not going to be firm. So you just have to keep weaving the fishing line into it. So you're going to make sure, that's why when you're starting, you want to make sure that you have excess fishing line. Okay, so you're going to take more than what you need to make your handle. So I'm going to keep weaving. I'll just weave the fishing line. I'm just using this object here to help me pick out the fishing line from the middle because it got stuck in there. So I'll keep weaving until I must not necessarily exhaust the whole fishing line. Okay, I'll just weave it in a way that I'll be satisfied that my handle is firm enough and secure enough. So when I put things in my bag and I hold my bag, my handle will not be coming down, will not be losing. Right. I'll just keep weaving it in and pulling along the way. Always remember to pull when you're dragging, when you're weaving your fishing line back into your bag. So I'm pulling, so I'm fixing it in, and I'm dragging the fishing line. Sorry about the bag not being in camera range, but I'm basically just fixing my fishing line into the bead and pulling in different directions. I'm not just going through one direction, I'm passing it through different directions. So I'm going to keep doing that now, and I'm going to show you what my bag looks like when I'm done passing my fishing line. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. Okay, see you in the next video. Alright, bye.